The autumn sun cast long shadows across the parking lot of Henderson and Associates, a prestigious law firm in downtown Seattle. Marcus Chen, a junior associate who'd worked his way through state college on scholarships, was reviewing case files in his modest sedan when a cherry-red vintage Mustang roared into the spot beside him. Out stepped Vincent Mercer, the firm's wealthiest client, a real estate mogul known for his collection of classic cars and his even larger ego. Vincent barely glanced at Marcus before striding toward the building, barking into his phone about his latest yacht purchase. Marcus gathered his files and followed at a distance. He'd been assigned to Vincent's portfolio review meeting, though he knew the client preferred working with the senior partners who matched his country club pedigree. Inside the conference room, Vincent dominated the conversation, dismissing Marcus's carefully prepared analysis with a wave of his hand. "Where's Thompson? I asked for someone who knows what they are doing." "Mr. Thompson is in court," Marcus replied evenly. "I've been with your account for 3 months, Anne." 3 months. Vincent laughed. "I've owned cars longer than you've been out of school, kid." "What are you, 25? 28, sir. And if you look at page 12, tell you what," Vincent interrupted, leaning back in his leather chair. "You see that Mustang out front? 67 fastback, fully restored. Worth more than you make in 2 years. He smirked. "I'll give you that car if you can get it running." Marcus felt heat rise to his face. He knew exactly what Vincent was implying. The car was obviously in perfect condition. This was pure mockery. "It runs fine, Mr. Mercer." "Does it?" Vincent's smile widened. "Because I seem to remember it was making a strange noise this morning. Something in the engine. Real complex problem." He stood, adjusting his Rolex. "But hey, if a smart guy like you can diagnose it, the car's yours. I'll even throw in the pink slip." The other associates in the room shifted uncomfortably. Vincent pulled out the keys and tossed them onto the table. "Go ahead. Give it a shot. Or are you going to admit you're in over your head with my account too?" Marcus stared at the keys, his mind racing. He could walk away, report Vincent's behavior to the partners. But something in the older man's condescending tone made his jaw tighten. He'd spent his whole life proving people like Vincent wrong. "I'll take a look," Marcus said quietly, picking up the keys. Vincent's laughter followed him out of the conference room. Outside, Marcus stood before the immaculate Mustang, his reflection distorted in its polished chrome. He wasn't a mechanic, but he'd grown up helping his father restore old Hondas in their garage in Tacoma. They couldn't afford new cars, so they'd learned to fix everything themselves. He popped the hood. The engine was pristine, professionally maintained, not a speck of oil or grime. Marcus listened carefully, started the car. It purred perfectly. No strange noise. This was exactly what he'd expected, a setup, a cruel joke at his expense, but as he leaned closer, something caught his eye. A small wire near the alternator looked slightly loose, probably disconnected recently. He traced it with his finger. It was the ground wire for the voltage regulator. Deliberately disconnected, just enough to cause intermittent electrical issues that wouldn't show up immediately, but would leave the driver stranded eventually. Marcus's mind clicked through the implications. Vincent was planning to use this car today. And when it failed, probably on some highway, he'd be calling for a tow. Humiliated, Marcus could fix it right now. Prove Vincent wrong, claim some hollow victory. Or, he thought about his father's words. Sometimes the best revenge is letting people trip over their own arrogance. Marcus carefully took photos of the disconnected wire with his phone, documenting the engine's condition. Then he closed the hood, returned to the conference room, and placed the keys on the table. "You're right, Mr. Mercer. I can't figure it out. It's beyond me." Vincent's triumphant grin spread across his face. "That's what I thought. Stick to pushing papers, kid." He snatched up the keys. "Now, can we get someone competent to handle my portfolio?" 2 hours later, Marcus was drafting a motion when his phone buzzed. Then again. And again, the firm's group chat exploded with messages. Vincent Mercer had broken down on I-5 during rush hour. The vintage Mustang had died completely, and he'd been stuck in traffic for 40 minutes waiting for a tow truck. Apparently, he'd been on his way to a crucial meeting with Japanese investors, a deal worth millions, and had missed it entirely. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. The next morning, Vincent stormed into the firm's lobby, his face crimson. "I want to know who touched my car yesterday." That Mustang was fine until he stopped when he saw Marcus calmly sitting in the waiting area. "Looking for me, Mr. Mercer?" Vincent's eyes narrowed. You sabotaged my car." Marcus pulled out his phone, showing the time-stamped photos. "Actually, someone disconnected your voltage regulator ground wire before I ever looked at it. See? Completely detached. My photos prove the condition it was in when you gave me the keys." He met Vincent's gaze steadily. "I documented everything because I knew you weren't making a genuine offer. You were mocking me. But I didn't touch a thing. I just didn't fix your problem for free after you insulted me. Vincent's bluster deflated as he realized the truth. He'd sabotaged his own car to humiliate Marcus and forgotten about it. The wire must have come loose when, Vincent stammered. When you deliberately disconnected it to make yourself look clever. Marcus stood. Mr. Mercer, I spent 3 months preparing an analysis that would have saved you $4 million in tax exposure. It's all in the report you refused to read. But you were too busy trying to make me feel small to notice. He handed Vincent a folder. Here's everything, including documentation of your missed meeting yesterday. I've already informed the partners that I can no longer work with clients who create hostile work environments. You'll be assigned to someone else. As Marcus walked away, Vincent called out, wait. That analysis, 4 million. Marcus paused. Page 12. The section you interrupted. A week later, Marcus found an envelope on his desk. Inside was a handwritten note. You were right about the tax strategy. And right about me. I'm sorry for how I treated you. I'm too proud to say this in person, but you earned something I never gave you, respect. VM. Attached was a check for $50,000, Marcus's cut of the tax savings as a performance bonus, but what stuck with Marcus wasn't the money. It was the conversation he had with his father that evening. You could have fixed his car and shown him up, his father said. No, Dad. Then it would have been about the car. This way, it was about respect. Marcus smiled. He had to face what he'd done without me saying a word. That's the lesson that actually sticks. His father nodded slowly. You know, I taught you how to fix engines. But you figured out something better, how to let people fix themselves. Marcus looked out at the Seattle skyline, thinking about all the Vincent Mercers in the world who measured worth by possessions and pedigree. They'd always be there. But he'd learned something crucial: dignity isn't given by others. It's chosen by yourself, and sometimes, the greatest power is knowing when not to prove yourself to someone who hasn't earned your effort.